syndication exclusively at www.nostarradio.com. Now, it's time to exchange your views.
Welcome. This is the View Exchange. I'm your host, Ann, for this program. And for this program, I'd like to talk about the major historic event that's happening in the United States of America on June the 7th. And that is, for the first time in the history of this country, a female is being nominated or has received enough delegates to be the Democratic presidential candidate of the United States of America. And that has been no easy situation for a woman in the United States of America. No easy situation at all. And I would really love to congratulate her and give her kudos, because I really think she has went in the trenches and did what she needed to do. And I think she's taken a lot of slack in the faces that she wouldn't have had to take if she'd been a man. Slap in the faces that if she wouldn't have, that she has taken if she wouldn't have been a female. She's taken because she's a female that she wouldn't have had to take if she was a male. And I want to say to all the women in this country, white, Black, Latino, Oriental, Muslim, she has done something that I don't think no other woman in this country could have done. But, and there is a but, I hope she won't forget how she got there. And I personally don't think she would be there without the help of affirmative action. White women would still be locked out of the boardroom if it wasn't for affirmative action. Black people marching in the streets, having dogs turned on them, having hoses turned on them, being beat down with billy clubs, if it wasn't for affirmative action. But I bet the major media is not going to come up and say anything about that. This is going to all be about what the white people have done. And I just think that is a highly, highly unjust situation in this country. I hope she stands up and give the black people in this country their justice, their just dues, because she wouldn't be where she was. There has been white people in this country for well over 200 years, and there has never been a woman nominated for president until now. And that is come about because of the suffering of black people and affirmative action. Affirmative action, as I have said before, was meant strictly for black people, to help right the wrongs of slavery and Jim Crow. But affirmative action, the white people hijacked it, and they started opening the doors. The largest group that have benefited from affirmative action have been white women. It has been white women. You would not have any white women of CEO positions in the boardrooms, running companies, getting loans to start businesses if it had not been for affirmative action and them being included in the affirmative action program. They were a minority, and that's what I have a problem with. How are you going to paint a blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman as a minority and put her into this same program of affirmative action with the black woman, kinky hair, large lips, large hips, and dark skin? But this is what the government of the United States of America did. And now we're having a white woman standing on the edge of accomplishing something that no other woman has done in this country. She's fought hard, but I hope she will not forget who opened that door for her to walk through to start fighting hard. It was the black people of the United States of America that has really made this possible. And I'm hoping and praying that she will not turn her back. I'm hoping that she will give the affirmative action and the black people their just due. Because black people have been with her and stood with her for a long, 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 long time. I myself have stood with her. I have spoke well of her on some incidents because I honestly felt in the situations that I stood with her that she had a good meaning. She had a good place she was coming from. But I am still going to say that I'm hoping and praying that she will stand up there and mention that this would not be possible if it had not been for affirmative action and the struggles and the fights that blacks went through back in the 60s. I mean, black people went through some tough times to get her where the white women are now. White women, I believe strongly in my heart, would not be where they're at right now as CEOs and Congress and head of government positions if it wasn't for affirmative action. White men saw that there was an avalanche coming. They saw that an avalanche was coming. So what did they do? As usual, they wanted to be in charge and on top of everything. They run and said, okay, we're going to open this up and we're going to paint our white women as minorities. When, in the history of this country, has white America ever painted a white woman as a minority? Except when they saw that they could use her and put her into affirmative action and put her in the front of the pack. I mean, white people in this country have been some conniving, deceiving individuals. It has been that way from slavery up until this day. And they use this affirmative action and sticking white women in there in that group and putting them at the head of the pack. And if that's not the case, and people having trouble seeing that, okay, just look at the situation for yourself. How many black women do you see are the head of companies, are being sought to be head of companies, are in Congress and the House of Representatives and the Senate? How many? How many people do you see in the head of companies? How many black women do you see of managers of businesses? How many black women do you see as head of universities? To some degree, the affirmative action was turned into a movement to promote the white woman. Let's all face it. I know I'm going to get maybe some feedback from the white women. And I'm going to give you another example of white women walking through doors of affirmative action that was supposed to be in a program to help the blacks, period. You look at your major news reporting agencies. Please, it's right in front of your face. And you look at the women. The majority of women And these news reporting agencies are going to be white women in everything. They may stick one little black woman on there as the token black. But the majority of white women reporting the news, having anchor positions, are white women. And they weren't there until after affirmative action. They weren't there until after affirmative action. And I just want this country to realize that white people are still stepping on the backs of blacks. I'm just hoping that they have got the guts to admit that and give the blacks their just due. Black people have paid the price to try to change this country. Now, a few whites came along for the ride. I'm going to give them their just due. There was a few good white people from slavery on up to this day. There has been a few who put their lives in danger to help. So I'm not condemning all whites. And if I have gave that impression, I am extremely, extremely sorry. Sometimes I get really excited and I may overspeak. But I do want to give some white people validation. I really and truly do. Because some of them did step up. They saw wrong, as the saying go, when a few good people stand by and do nothing, they are part of the problem. So a few good white people stepped up. A few good white women stepped up. From the beginning of slavery up until now. And I think, and I want to believe so strongly, that Mrs. Clinton is one of those women. Not in everything, but in the majority. Everybody is not going to be in everything, but in the majority and maybe in the things that really matter. But I just want her to please let the world know. Let young black girls know that she is standing where she's standing tonight because of affirmative action. Because black women got out and marched in the street and was beat down by white policemen. That black women were denied jobs. But we kept on fighting. We kept on fighting and clawing and scratching to get doors and things open. And once those doors was open, the white men in control says, we're going to fix this. We're going to say our blonde-haired, blue-eyed white women are a minority, and we're going to put them at the front of the pack. So when that door opened, they're going to be the first ones through to get the jobs, to get the promotions up the ladder. They're going to be the ones that knock on that glass ceiling. But like I said, it's not all. The few men at the top have let a few black women in. You have to run twice as fast and jump twice as high, but they have let a one or two in. Condoleezza Rice is one. And she was let in through a Republican president. She's twice as intelligent as most white women. She's got twice as much as the experience of most white women. And I'm extremely, extremely proud of her as a woman. It doesn't matter to me that she's a Republican. It does not matter to me. It matters to me that she is an intelligent, strong black woman. And that's what should matter to all black women in this country. That Condoleezza Rice, amongst others, but she is world known. And I'm proud of her. I'm proud of her. I am extremely proud of her. And I think and I believe strongly that Condoleezza Rice has had a lot to do with doors opening and Hillary Clinton being where she's at tonight. Because I believe Condoleezza Rice did a damn good job when she was in the government working for the Bushes. I believe she did a damn good job. I think she carried herself with the utmost respect I think she respected other foreign leaders. I think they have respect for her. And I am going to say, as long as I can say, I think she has done a lot opening doors where Mrs. Clinton can be where she's at tonight. And I just want her to stand up and say, you know, Shirley Chisholm, Barbara Jordan are black women who stood up and fought. Has opened doors so Mrs. Clinton can stand where she's standing at tonight. And I want every young black girl to understand that. Black women in this country has paid a big price for Mrs. Clinton to stand where she's standing tonight. If she stands on that stage and show them the respect that I think that they deserve, I'm going to think real long and hard and voting for her. And I'm going to encourage if she does this, if she gets on there and paint this picture that, she has done this and white women have fought to get all these doors open, I don't know if I'm going to have respect for her. Because I know, she knows, other CEO of companies knows, women in the government knows, or they should know, that affirmative action was a program designed just for blacks to right the wrongs of slavery and Jim Crow. And on the earlier debates, if they will go back and pull that tape, on the earlier debates, the candidate from Virginia, he tried to explain that, and Anderson Cooper cut him short. Because affirmative action was not supposed to be for white women. It was not supposed to be for gays. It was not supposed to be for lesbians. It was not supposed to be for Latinos or anybody else. Affirmative action was set up specifically to undo the wrongs or to try to correct the wrongs of slavery and Jim Crow. But the major white man who was in charge said, "Oh wow, let's put our women in that group too. Let's put the gays in that group too. Let's put the lesbians in that." That was not what it was set up for. This door has been opened so wide until blacks are pretty much knocked out of affirmative action. Blacks are pretty much knocked out of affirmative action. That's why you do not see that many young blacks advancing up the ladder. You may see them making some headway in the musical field, in the entertainment field, in the sports field. But even in that area, how many do you see moving up the ladder to become coaches, to become owners? Oh yeah, you may have one or two. Compared to the people on the field, it's nothing. And I just hope tonight, as a woman, that she gives some recognition to the affirmative action and to the role that the black women have played in helping her stand on that stage and make history in this country. And I believe and I wonder, day after day after day, ever since last year when she was running for president, and certainly this year, would this be possible if it had not been for affirmative action? And I wished other people would start thinking, would we be on the eve of having a woman as the nominee for the Democratic Party for President of the United States? I want people to stop and think of it. Would we be where we're at tonight? I really and truly don't think so. That's just my view from being out. And I'm the kind of person, I'm kind of like an invisible person. I'm not for the forefront. I really like being kind of like the invisible person out in the crowd, out in the mall, out at a school. I like being kind of like the invisible person, and people talk around you because they don't really see you, or they see you and they ignore you. And I'm gathering information. And when I hear women out talking, sitting in a restaurant eating, or when I see teachers at a school function, teachers pretty much in all black school, and I'm saying to myself, I wonder if you'd be here if it wasn't for affirmative action. You want to come into the black neighborhoods, into the black schools, into the black stores, become managers. Would you be here if it wasn't for affirmative action, or would that job would go to a white man? You're here as a manager because of affirmative action. Because you weren't here before. You weren't here before. Even in higher education, you didn't have whole lot of white women as professors until after the 60s in affirmative action. It became a flood. The doors open wide for white women to move in and to hit that glass ceiling. And I just want Mrs. Clinton to stand up there and admit that a lot of why she's there is because of the affirmative action and the struggle of the black women, and how the black women have stood with her and behind her and for her during all kinds of situations in her life. When a lot of other women turned and wanted to beat her up, black women stood with her. Black women stood with her. And you want me to tell you why black women stood with her? Because black women have been beat up. Black women have had men to do them wrong, and they have persevered and pushed on. That's why we know and we have stood with her. And I just hope and pray that she stands up there and gives some recognition to the affirmative action struggle and to the black women who stood with her, for her, and by her. I mean, if this is a time where she could really bring a lot together. If she's going to stand up there and say to young girls, white girls, and to young black girls, to young legal Latino girls, if you all come together, you can do a whole lot. The blacks stood with me when it wasn't popular. When the major establishment was trying to beat me down, the blacks stood with me. The black women stood with me when everybody was saying that, I need to do this and I need to do that and I need to do this and I need to do that in my personal life. The black women stood with me. And the black women understood her. And know that you don't always turn and run, And I just want her to recognize and to admit and to give some kudos for the struggle of the affirmative action movement, and try to give some recognition to the Black Lives Movement. Because black women are now struggling still to try to save our children. And all we want is somebody that we have helped to turn around and help us. So tonight, if she uses this platform as a coming together and show and give thanks to the support that black women have put behind her, because I know maybe the Latinos have come on board now. Some of them have. But black women have been behind her pretty much from the beginning. From the time her husband first ran for president. And that's coming full circle. I think it's time. I think, although it's not Condoleezza Rice for me, because like I say, I am a huge fan of Condoleezza Rice, and I would love to maybe have seen Condoleezza be the first woman president, but I think she's had enough of American government. That's just my view. That's just my view. But I just think I want to see her just show some respect for the affirmative action movement. Because I strongly don't believe that she would be standing where she's at tonight if it wasn't for the affirmative action movement in the United States of America. Because black people caught hell. Some of them lost their jobs. They were beaten. They were hospitalized. Fighting for rights. Fighting for rights. Cummings can testify to that. That was not no easy struggle. That was no easy struggle. So, I just hope she do the right thing. Stand up there and give kudos to the affirmative action movement in this country, which I know may not be a real popular thing to do, maybe for a lot of white women, but to me, that would be the right thing to do. And even if the Republican women don't like her, this is an historic moment that it is a woman. You may not think it is the right woman for a lot of Republicans, but she is still a woman. And they can say, you know, she's a woman, she's fought hard, and she's won. We may not agree with her policies, but she won. And as a woman, I want to congratulate her. And if you think that some of her policies and things are not right, then try to work with her and change them. I mean, I really and truly do not understand what is so wrong with giving a woman the chance to see if she can change this country and change the world. Germany's done it, and their country hasn't fell apart. In fact, Germany has prospered. They were doing tremendously well until they started letting all those immigrants into the country. Angela Merkel, has done tremendously good for that country. Now, some women has faltered. You look at South America, some women have faltered, just like some men have faltered. But give a woman a chance, America. Give a woman a chance. Don't beat her up and deny her simply because she's a woman. I'm willing to give her a chance. I'm willing to keep an open mind. I really am. And listen to what she has to say and watch and see what she does moving forward. I'm going to keep an open mind. I'm going to keep an open mind, and I'm going to be following this very, very closely, just like I think every woman should. And I'm going to put on my big girl pants, and if I feel that she's doing something wrong, I'm going to say so. And if I feel she's doing something extremely right, I'm going to say so. And this is going to be my views from my corner of the world, from my city. I know what's going on in my area. You know what's going on in your area. So, keep a look for yourself. Think on things. I love to drink coffee and tea. And I will fix me a good, strong block of cup of coffee up morning, and I just sit and think on what is being trying to be force-fed me. And I think I have a pretty good gut instinct. And if I hear somebody saying something on the TV that I think is just wrong or just doesn't make any sense to me, I'm going to come back and talk to you about it, okay? So I'm going to pay close attention tonight and hope every other woman in this country does the same. And we're going to try to keep an open mind, wait to see what happens, and give her the benefit of the doubt. We have given men the benefit of the doubt for what, well over 200 and some years? So is it too much to ask to give a woman the benefit of the doubt? And let's see what she's going to do. She may decide to do a lot of changing. So let's wait and see after tonight. See what she comes forward with. Okay? This has been the View Exchange, and my name is Ann. And as always, I want to thank you for listening. And as always, we will talk later.
View Exchange, tune in weekly and listen in syndication exclusively at